Hey babes, welcome to BJJ Babes episode number 12. Laura, your host here. This is a Monday night recording this intro after a nice weekend in Las Vegas with some friends for a wedding, and I got to see my boyfriend. We're currently long distance, so it was really nice, but I was very tired. This week's episode, I got the opportunity to interview Elaine, known to many as Jiu-Jitsu Grandma on Instagram. I remember the first time I found Elaine's Instagram profile, and her caption is something like, "It's never too late." And as someone who's been active my whole life, and as I age, something that honestly really scares me is reaching a point where I'm not able to be as active. And obviously, as you age, you are going to have more physical limitations. But Elaine is somebody that I really love to watch because she's 76 years old. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. She still trains. She just competed this year at Masters Worlds. It's really inspiring, and it gives me hope that, I started jiu-jitsu in my 30s. I didn't start young. And there's not a lot of women that you see training that are older. There are a few here and there, but not a lot. And so it means a lot to see somebody in their 70s who's training, who's a colored belt, who's going to make it to black belt. She'll tell you that in the episode. It's really inspiring to have those role models because she is a role model. So I really hope you enjoyed the interview with Elaine, Jiu-Jitsu Grandma.
Well, hello, Elaine. Thank you for coming on today.
Delighted to be here.
And Elaine, you're coming from Alabama, is that correct?
That's right.
Where in Alabama are you?
We're in a little town south of Birmingham. It's just a farm town.
Farm town? Nice.
Called Columbiana, Columbiana, Alabama.
All right, I'll have to ask my boyfriend. He's from Wetumpka, which is near Montgomery, I think.
That's right. He wound up in California. Wow, that's a long trip.
He's a Marine.
Well, that explains it, yeah. Good for him.
Yeah. They're good. I'm a fan.
The Southern gentlemen, are supposed to be at any rate.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I got a good one.
Good for you.
All right, so Elaine, do you want to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Okay, and my name is Elaine Beiersdorfer. I use Elaine Wynn on my Instagram because my granddaughter said my last name was too long, so I use my middle name. So I'm called that sometime too, Elaine Wynn. Mm-hmm. But and I do jiu-jitsu. I've been doing it since I was 69. I'm 76 now. So I'm just a little old lady.
Awesome. And on Instagram, I think you're well known as Jiu-Jitsu Grandma. Yep, I love that. What got you started in jiu-jitsu?
Actually, started in a judo class, and the professor, after a month or two, said, "Why don't you try jiu-jitsu?" which was on the next mat, and he taught both of them. So I just moved over and started doing jiu-jitsu. I really like it. I like them both, but I've stuck with jiu-jitsu.
Okay. So what got you inspired to start in martial arts?
My husband was in graduate school down towards South Alabama, and I was bored at night because he was studying and this and that. So somebody was doing a judo class 6 weeks, and I went, "Hey, I think I'll try that." I've never done it. Mm-hmm. I really liked it, and I was going to keep doing it when I got back to Birmingham, but nobody taught it. So I was 69 before I found a professor in a gym that taught judo.
Mm-hmm. And then he got you to try the jiu-jitsu class.
That's right. He's also the one that took me to my first World Masters tournament in Las Vegas. And he didn't ask me if I wanted to go. He told me that he was taking me, and I went, okay. That's pretty much the way it went.
Yeah. So when did you go to your first World Masters?
I think I was, 70 years old, the first one I went to. And I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 over there, and I've been to the Pan Games down in Orlando a few times too. I think I've gotten past my age though, because now I'm fighting younger girls who are in their early 60s. That sounds old to you. It sounds young to me. And I really can't be competitive. I'm not afraid to fight them, but it's just, it's hard. It's hard.
It is whenever there's that age difference.
Yes.
Yeah, but you just got to get some more ladies your age training.
Well, they've talked about doing a Master 8, but I'm not sure there'd be anybody in it, you know, because there's very few in Master 7. Now, there's a lot of guys, just not a whole lot of women. So I think there were 7 in all in the different weight categories, and that's the most I've ever seen, truthfully.
Yeah, 7's pretty impressive. I mean, even I'm Masters 2, and 7 would be a lot for us.
Really?
What was your first jiu-jitsu class like?
My first jiu-jitsu class, you know, I remember the judo class. I don't remember a whole lot about the jiu-jitsu class. They paired me with a girl that was really nice and was very helpful. And I remember 2 of the professors came over and they were sort of watching, and the younger professor said something in Portuguese, and I'm going, what? And the other professor said, oh, he says you're a thinker. I guess because I'm trying to think through everything.
Yeah.
That's actually the only thing I remember about that first class was his comment that I didn't understand.
The Portuguese comment.
Well, almost all the professors are Portuguese in my gym. So, and some speak very good English and some not so much, which is always cute.
Yeah. Yeah, you just pick up words as you go once you start jiu-jitsu.
That's right. That's right. You do.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was it that got you hooked after that first class?
The first class. Oh, I was all in. I mean, judo and jiu-jitsu. I was all in. There wasn't even a thought of, no, I'm not going to do this. I loved it from the beginning. I did.
That's awesome. What was it about it that you loved?
I know this sounds a little strange, but I really like the physical fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Even at my age, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I grew up with 2 older brothers. We did a lot of wrestling around, and when I was in grammar school, I would join the boys on the side yard when they're fighting, you know, be in the group. So I suppose it's just part of my personality.
Yeah.
I didn't like the martial arts that was kicking and hitting. I like the jiu-jitsu, you know, self-defense end of that. It's really nice.
Yeah, there's a physicality about it.
That's what keeps a lot of women out of the sport, because they don't want that personal, you know, you're up against sweaty guys, and, you know, it's just, it is what it is.
It is, yeah. You've gotta, there's definitely something you have to get past with getting up close and personal. Sometimes people you don't know that well.
I never had a problem with that for some reason. I just didn't. And my gym is Professor Khalifa Oliveira is the one that owns and runs the gym, and he doesn't allow any bad language, bad attitudes. You don't hurt the girls. Yeah. So it's a safe gym for me. You know, which I'm not sure all gyms would be, but for me, I hit into a really, really good gym.
Yeah, and that's so important.
It is, and it's so important.
Was it that was the first judo gym that opened near you, so that was how you ended up there?
Reason I ended up there, I was in PetSmart working with some foster animals, and a girl walked in a gi. And I said, do you do martial arts? And she said, I do jiu-jitsu. And I said, well, I like judo myself. And she said, oh, they teach judo down there. And I went, really? So I just called the gym and asked them if they took old people. And the girl said, how old? I said, I'm 69. And she went and asked the professor, and he went, sure, let her come. So I did. I mean, that's how I wound up at that gym. It was just because whatever girl, and I never knew who it was.
You never saw her again?
I don't remember. If, you know, because they come and go, you know, and it was such a brief conversation. I don't remember who it was.
That's awesome. And it's great that conversation led you to a gym with an environment that fit you so well.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right.
Because there are different environments, and I think there are environments that are safer for women than others and safer for people of all ages than others.
Right. And, jujitsu is one of those sports where you can do well even if you don't know how to do it. I mean, you don't have to be great at it to enjoy it. And I'm certainly not great at it or even good at it, but it's fun and I'm making progress. Might be slower than than some others, but I'm learning.
Yeah, no, there's a quote from Jasmine Rocha, who's a black belt out of Florida, where it starts with, "You don't have to be good at jujitsu. That's not the point." And I remind myself of that all the time, especially when I get frustrated or I feel like it's slower.
When I got my purple belt, I really felt like at that point I needed to earn that purple belt because I just didn't feel like I did. And in fact, about a month ago, I cornered my professor, Khalifa. And I said, could you just stall me at the purple belt for a while? And he went, don't tell me how to do my job. I went, okay. He made me laugh.
That is funny. How long have you had your purple belt for?
Maybe a year. I can't even remember when I got it. Maybe not quite a year ago.
Mm-hmm. And what has been the difference for you from blue belt into purple belt?
People actually expect you to know what you're doing, and I'm sorry to say this, I often don't. But yeah, I mean, you hit the purple belt, you're supposed to know some stuff.
Yeah, everyone tells me like that's when everyone stops going easy on you, and I'm like, oh
yeah. The only ones that go easy on me in that gym are the guys, and they just will mainly defend till they get sick of me, and sort of dump me off the side. I don't normally roll with a new white belt because they don't want to be choked by a little old lady, and it's they're more likely to use their just strength rather than technique.
Mm-hmm.
And ego plays a part in men's jiu-jitsu. It does, not so much with the women, I think, but with the men, I do believe it does.
I think you're right on that. And yeah, it's the new white belt. Sometimes they'll like start out going easier, and then when they realize they're about to get choked by a woman, they all of a sudden start muscling their way, and then you're worried about getting hurt.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Do you have like any physical limitations that you have to make adjustments in your training?
Okay, you're kidding me, right? I'm 76. Yes,
I know, but I didn't want to make any assumptions.
I'm not very flexible, but I've never been flexible, so that's neither here nor there, I guess. I have some arthritis in my neck and shoulders, and my doctor said, you better tap out early when they're going to armbar you, Elaine. And I try not to be too hard-headed about that, but I don't like to I hate to tap. I just have to say, even in class, it's like, I don't want to.
Exactly. I'm also curious, like osteoporosis runs in my family. My mom has it. So do you have concerns with fractures or anything when you train?
When I started, I had osteopenia, and I don't now. All that pushing and pulling and all has strengthened my muscles. And in fact, the last time they x-rayed my shoulder, the doctor said, man, your bones look great. And I'm going, jiu-jitsu.
That's awesome.
Sure. Because, there are times when if a girl's got her legs around my waist, I can stand up and pick her up. Now, how many 76-year-olds are going to be able to do that? And I couldn't do it when I started. I could not stand up if somebody had their legs around me, but now I can.
Yeah.
So it's made me stronger. There's no doubt about that.
All right. That is a good reason then I want to stay in jiu-jitsu. I want to be 75, 76 like you and still training, and it sounds like there's some definite benefits to that.
Well, I'm very small. I'm 4'11", 110, 11 pounds. And my mother had very bad arthritis and bone problems. So it runs in smaller people anyway, and runs in my family. So I've managed to avoid that by doing jiu-jitsu.
Okay, I'm gonna call my mom and tell her to start jiu-jitsu. she's a very active person, but she's had those issues. She's in her late 60s now. So yeah, she's having this.
As active if you're not really pushing your muscles, and is probably not going to help as much. Where jiu-jitsu is really physical, and we do a lot of push-ups and all kinds of stuff. You know how you warm up.
Yeah.
It never gets easier.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So you mentioned that your coach told you were going to Masters Worlds for the first time. How soon into your jiu-jitsu did you start competing, and what got you to try competing?
I wasn't planning on competing. That was not even in my brain. I had in fact, he told me that I was still a white belt. I'd been a white belt for maybe a year and a few months. And I said, wait, I have to be a blue belt. And he said, oh, you will by the time you go. Really? So I got it to my first competition, a brand new blue belt, brand new. And when I told my husband, hey, I think, I'm supposed to go to Las Vegas, he went, why are you doing this? I said, who gets to compete at that level at my age? And he went, hey, you're right.
So what was it like your first time at Masters Worlds?
I had a blue gi that I had bought that I loved, so I took it with me. But one of the girls in the gym, thank goodness, said to me, you need to take another gi. Take 2 gis. I said, okay. So I took 2, and when I got up to the thing, they measured the arm, and it was too small. And I had to change into the other gi. And had I not had it, I'd gone all the way to Las Vegas and not been able to compete. So I'm grateful for the advice. I'm grateful. But as far as that, there were 2 girls. I won one, I lost one, I tied 2 that went to my opponent. But actually, that is the only one I've ever won in a competition. It's the only one. And it was really because of my professor. He was standing on the sidelines, and we were sort of close up together, and he said, Elaine, sweep her. And I just kicked her foot out from under and landed on top, and I just didn't let her up.
That's nice. Yeah, sometimes that sideline coaching, I always listen and I know the value of it, but then I really saw the value last weekend when I competed, and there was I couldn't see certain things that were going on, but they could.
I always ask somebody to coach. If professor can't come, one of the other professors or one of the other higher belts might be there. Or sometimes he'll go ask another black belt, would you yell at Elaine? That's pretty much the way it went.
So what do you love most about jiu-jitsu?
I really like the people I've met. Nicest people in the world. I love the people in my gym. It's a great community for me, and I've made a lot of new friends. And I get to speak to people all around the world and meet people from all different countries. That's just really huge for me. But even if I hadn't, I would still stay with jiu-jitsu just because I like the sport so much. I do.
Yeah. The people in jiu-jitsu are great. And your Instagram has really blown up because I think people love to see this jiu-jitsu grandma.
It's a total mystery to me. I have to tell you, I don't get it, but I'm grateful for it. It's nice.
Yeah, I think it's the authenticity, and then for us, us girls, most of the older people who are still training, a lot of dudes. So when we see a woman that we can look up to, it means a lot.
It's really nice. I've noticed some older guys in the gym now that have started. It's a hard sport to start late, but I'm grateful to see them there, in their late 50s or 60s. That's, for a while, heck, I was the oldest by 40 years.
And so in your gym, is it a good mix of men and women? Is it mostly men? What kind of dynamic do you have?
It's a very large gym with women. I go to a lunch class, which normally would be mainly guys, but there's usually 4 or 5 women even at lunch. And they do have women's classes. at night, all women's classes if they want to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't normally go at night these days because we live way out in the country and it's a winding road. It takes me about 35 minutes to get there. And my husband's just, if you can go to the lunch class, that's safer, drive-wise. Yeah. So that's usually what I do. Unless I'm going to try to hit a judo class or something special is going on. I'd like to train more, but it's just hard to get there.
That's awesome that you have that many women and you have the dedicated women's classes at your gym. Even here in San Diego, women are still the minority in the gyms here.
Well, of course, the women are a minority, but they're not, it's not just 2 or 3 or 4. There's probably 12, 15, 30, 20, 25 women or more that are there regularly. That's a pretty big group.
That is. That's a good number. What challenges you most about in jiu-jitsu?
Shouldn't ask these questions. I suppose. I don't know. I have a hard time remembering a lot of things. I used to video all the stuff and go home and watch it because I walk out the door and go, "What did we do?" Mm-hmm. Even though we drill it over and over, it doesn't always stick. I don't have a very sticky brain. Mine's more Teflon. Things slide off my brain. So that's a challenge for me, mm-hmm. just to try to remember stuff. And I've really just, I'm so excited if I'm rolling with somebody and actually do something right, get out of mm-hmm. a hard hold or whatever. I'm just like, yes, I did it. Ooh, that sort of thing.
Who are your favorite people to roll with at your gym? Is it the other women? Do you like rolling with both men and women? Is there a size preference?
I really, I don't have a preference. Mm-hmm. I have girls that we're friends. I love rolling with them. They kill me, but that's okay because we're friends. The guys are really nice too. And I've noticed lately they've been mainly pairing the girls with the girls and the guys with the guys, but occasionally they don't. I know these guys really well. They're super nice, and I like rolling with them too. It's fun. I mean, how many girls get to roll with good-looking young guys? Come on. Especially my age. It don't happen. It's like, well, this is really fun.
That's a great way to look at it.
And my husband is just like, whatever, Elaine. He doesn't care. He is not a jealous person at all, which I know can be a problem sometimes for younger girls and their husbands or boyfriends. I don't have that problem at all.
I think, it's such a, we talk, red flags, green flags, and significant others. I think it's such a green flag to have a partner that doesn't have to train, but doesn't care, doesn't get jealous. My boyfriend's the same way.
That's excellent. We've been married 55 years. He knows me very well.
He's just like, that's Elaine's thing.
Really, it is, because I always, he's used to me doing a lot of weird things. So that hasn't, that doesn't faze him.
After 55 years, he's just like, yep, this is normal.
That's exactly right. Now my kids were going, "You are crazy, mother." But
how many kids do you have?
I have three kids, 2 girls and a boy, and both my girls are over 50 now, which is, man, that means I'm really old. My son is 46, and I've got 7 grandkids, and they're all grand. I love grandkids.
Oh yeah, that's the fun part, because you get to be grandma. You get to spoil them.
Listen, I have taken them zip lining and whitewater rafting and camping and horseback riding in different states. We do a lot of fun stuff together. We do. They're my playmate friends.
Have you gotten any of your family members into jiu-jitsu?
I have one grandson who is 12 that started jiu-jitsu, and he went for about 6 months, but he paused because he wanted to play flag football. Okay. And that's fixing to be over. So I think he's gonna come back to jiu-jitsu, which I think would be great for him. He's good at it.
That's awesome. I was just talking to my mom about getting my nephews to do it.
It's such a good, especially for boys. It teaches a lot of self-confidence, how to defend themselves, how to act. Jiu-jitsu gyms are very strict about what you do and how you act. And I think that is helpful for younger boys.
I think so too. The discipline and the respect, the bowing on the mat, respecting your professor, respecting your teammates.
That's right.
There's a lot of good life lessons in jiu-jitsu.
There you go. That's exactly the way to put it. Good life lessons.
Absolutely. Have you tried to get any of your friends to try jiu-jitsu?
They wouldn't any more do that than they would fly out a window. None of them. None. My girls won't do it. My middle daughter doesn't like anybody in her personal space. And my oldest daughter's just really too busy. She would have been very good at it, but she just got too much on her plate now. And really, all my friends are in their 70s, so you can imagine they're not no, Elaine, no, I would not, no.
They're like, Elaine, what are you doing? Oh, that's funny. What do you think are some ways that we can get more women to try jiu-jitsu and stay in it?
At my gym, they let you come for free for a full week. And, there's classes 3 or 4 times a day for 7 days, so they get a good idea of what it's like. And then if they like it, they would stay with it, but it's just, you've got to know that that's your thing, really. And it's not everybody's, for sure. I mean, really, especially at my age. But I've talked to a lot of people. Of course, on my Facebook page, they know what I do. Just nobody wants to do it.
It definitely takes a certain type. I've definitely tried. Yeah. I've tried with my friend. And I've gotten a few people because maybe they probably would have tried it even if I hadn't been the one to lure them in. And then other people are like, yeah, I'm good.
It is a growing sport, though. I mean, I can just tell by our gym, it has exploded. He actually had to move to a bigger place, and it's very big now. And they do kickboxing and judo, jiu-jitsu. They have workout place. It's a very large facility, and it's packed. At nights, you can't stir them with a stick. I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah. It's amazing how much jiu-jitsu has expanded all over the country.
That's true.
I was in Huntsville in March for work, and I trained at a gym there, and they had a full mat.
Oh, wow. I love to go and watch the little 3 and 4 year olds. They're so cute.
They are so
and some of them are fierce. I mean, fierce little girls.
Yes. I love that. And I love the type of women will be created by having those little girls being fierce and training from a young age.
I mean, how many sports can go from 3 years old to, I mean, some of the big masters they're in their 80s and 90s. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
I can't think of another sport in the world that does that, truthfully.
Yeah. And the fact, I wouldn't say that the men's and women's are completely equal, but in terms of standing at major tournaments, there is a degree of equality that I see in jiu-jitsu that I don't see in other sports.
Yeah. It's true too. It's true.
Where do you see your jiu-jitsu journey going?
Well, professor said that I will be a black belt probably by the time I'm 80. I will need a walker to get to the mat. But I keep telling people that. But actually, I think it's probably going to keep, if I can keep at it, I'll still be fairly spry.
Yeah.
You can't do something like that your whole life and not.
Yeah, it's that continue moving. I think when you talked earlier about your bones. Have you seen other physical benefits?
Well, besides bones and strength, and I think just mental attitude. I've always got something fun to look forward to. I'm not just sitting around watching TV all day and eating chocolate, even though I do eat a lot of chocolate. I like it. But it does give you, you've got that community waiting for you. And that's a benefit at my age. I think when people get older, they tend to just glide through the last years of their life. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And just having that community and those friends at the gym.
And two, learning something new every time you go. How many people my age even get to do that? And not only I've got to see it and learn it and then do it when I can. There's some moves I'm going, I'm not so good at that.
Yeah, I think, the way that it's always good to never stop learning. Jiu-Jitsu is something you're constantly learning. Even black belts are constantly
learning. Oh gosh, yes. My professor's wife said she just started learning jiu-jitsu when she got her black belt. She said, that's when you really start learning. And I went, whoa. I mean, you'd think that would be almost an end of the road when really she's saying, no, that's where you're actually beginning. You're just working up to be, you're in kindergarten. Now you're actually in school. I can see that. I can.
Yeah, I can totally see that too. What advice would you give to people who are thinking of getting into jiu-jitsu?
Don't give up. If the first classes go a little hard, just stay with it because you will be so glad you did. If you just hang in there and stay with it, it's worth it. It's worth it.
What would you say has been most worth it about getting into jiu-jitsu?
Well, I suppose it's just like everything else: the physical benefits, the mental benefits, and the emotional benefits of just knowing I can do it. That I'm still capable of going on that mat. And I think too, if I ever got in a situation that was sticky, somebody trying to grab me or something, I've got some tools in my toolbox that would really surprise them. I might not come out alive, but it's going to be a fight. I can tell you that. They're going to be, they're going to be sorry they picked me.
Yep. It would be great if they came out of it like a broken arm and some big regrets.
Yeah. I would love to choke somebody. Blood choke. Let them out. I think it would be a surprise, because they're not expecting women really to fight that much besides flailing their arms and going, I know how to make a good fist, and I know how to throw a good punch. I didn't learn that from jiu-jitsu, but I took some boxing too. So a little bit here and there. And I had brothers. There's always that.
Yeah. I didn't have brothers. I feel like a lot of girls come into jiu-jitsu and they have this extra layer they're fighting because they grew up fighting their brothers. And I'm like, did not have that.
It is the truth. It is. They pestered me to death. Oh, gosh. I gave one of my younger brother, well, he's not younger than me, but the younger of two, I gave him a black eye when I was about 8 years old just because he was pestering me to death. And he's the one that taught me how to throw the punch, so hey, it's on him.
Yeah, yep. What would you say to somebody who's like in their 60s or 70s thinking of trying a martial art, but scared, thinking they're too old or has reservations about it?
It's just you can watch some videos, but honestly, you don't get a real feel for the sport unless you're in that gym and giving it a try. I do talk to some of the older women that come in the gym new and say, stay with it. This is such a good sport for you. Such a good sport. Don't give up. And I try to encourage them, that because some of them I can tell they're going to be good at it if they stay with it. So I do my best to encourage. I'm not a teacher, but I'm a good encourager. That's what I do.
What do you see in people that maybe makes it more likely that they will succeed or continue coming back when they start training.
The ones that are really listening very carefully and is a big thing. They're paying close attention. They want to learn. Probably is one of the bigger things. They're not just goofing off. They're serious from the first, and you can usually tell who is. I asked my professor, I think everybody in that first judo class, as far as I know, are not in the gym anymore. I was the only girl. It was guys, teenage boys and guys. Well, the boys grew up and, did their thing. They left the gym. And I guess the boys, men, I'm not sure, but I asked him one time, aren't I the one that you would have thought least likely to stay with? And he said, oh, no, Elaine, I knew you were going to stick and stay. So that was interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some people come in and they think it's, even in their first class, like this forum for them to show how strong they are, how good they can be right away. And those people don't really grow.
No. And a lot of times they hit that blue belt, which I think is a turning point, and they get, okay, I'll quit now. I got a blue belt. You hadn't just got started good when you get that blue belt. We do get some younger guys in who have been wrestlers in high school and college. They're going to be good if they stay with it because they've already got a leg up on it. But even the kids that aren't that athletic do pretty good in jiu-jitsu. My grandson is one of them. He, for whatever reason, this particular sport catches him very well. The professors have said, and he listens carefully, and he sort of surprised me, truthfully.
Yeah.
But it was a good surprise.
Yeah. I think, like, something I noticed with jiu-jitsu, there were certain things in rolling that were the opposite of how I thought they should be. So in some ways, it's almost better if you're coming in with this open mind, because there's no like counterintuitive, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, you're more moldable.
I've been very moldable. Good word. Good word.
It's good to go and moldable.
Well, I think it has to do with, are you coachable?
Yep.
Are you coachable? And two, I've noticed that if I'm trying to drill something and I'm just not doing well, and the professor walks by, and I said, I'm not flexible enough to really do this. And he said, well, let's tweak it a little bit and do this or this. And all of a sudden I'm better. So they sort of gear it to what you're good at. For me, that's very helpful. If I can't be as flexible, he said, well, you can do this. And that makes me feel better.
And you identified two things there. First of all, the fact that you can always adjust and scale movements to make them work for your body. And then also the fact that your professor recognizes that and works with his students.
Yeah, they're very good about that. And, there are some moves that are just short legs do not help you. And there are other moves that do. So that too. And even if I would never do whatever I'm learning, the fact that I know what it is so I can recognize it if somebody's doing it to me.
And then you can know how to defend it or counter.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, because that's definitely, like, we all have our different bodies, and there's certain moves, certain games that work with one body type better than another. The beauty of jiu-jitsu is there's not an ideal body type.
You've got to work with what you got.
Yep. And it's fun, like, are you familiar with Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse? He is an MMA fighter who competes jiu-jitsu. He just got his black belt. I think his nickname is Mighty Mouse because he's a little guy. And he'll go in the absolute and just destroy these huge dudes.
Ooh, I like it. I got to find him on Instagram.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. Like, he definitely knows how to use his size and his movement to his advantage.
Right. Boy, that's the key. That's a key.
Yeah.
We have a man in our gym who had a stroke when he was a kid. And so his left side of his body does not work well, his hand and foot.
Mm-hmm.
But they have adjusted his game, and I'm going to tell you, he's hard to beat. he's hard to beat because the professors have worked with him. So he's right side strong, and he's very strong at right side. So that and sometimes he competes in the the games that are for disabled people. But he's an inspiration for me. He really has been.
Yeah, that's just again awesome that he's able to find that, and the gym works with him to help him find that.
Right.
That's so inspiring. So my final question would be, what advice would you give to someone going into their first class day one?
Try not to be intimidated. Listen very carefully. You've got people in that gym that are going to help you, and when they pair you with somebody, whoever is your partner is going to be very helpful for you, because that's just what you do, And I think that really not to be so intimidated and afraid, because it can be nerve-wracking. My first judo class definitely was, mainly because I was the only girl for one thing. And I thought I was in pretty good shape till they started running me around and all that, and then I was just but I wouldn't quit, and they paired me with the teenage boys who were around 13 or 14, because at that point they were my size. Now they're a foot taller, and they were surprisingly good for me. They were they coached me well. If I did something stupid, they go, "No, Elaine, back up. Let's do this." And so they were also in the jiu-jitsu class. They were in both judo and jiu-jitsu. So those first year or two or so, I was mainly paired with the boys, the younger boys, and they were just so nice. Really good kids.
Yeah. That's really cute. And then you said they're a foot taller than you now, so you've kind of been seeing them grow up.
6 feet tall and got girlfriends now.
That's so cute. That is the cool thing too, is the kids that you train with and seeing them, from like 12, 13 to 6 feet tall.
I hope Cade stays with us. He's 12 now, and I would love to see him get up into his teens some. Even if it at 17, 18 he stops, at least he's learned a lot in that time span that will be helpful for him, and he can always pick it up later if he pauses for a while to go to college or whatever he's going to do.
Yeah, and that'd be so cute for you all to go to a competition together.
I usually take him to class, which has been really funny, because I pick him up and we start the class, and I get to hear everything that's going on at home that I'm sure I would never know. And he has made me laugh. I thought I was going to have to pull over the car a few times just listening to him. It was a bit, and then of course on the way back he tells me all about his class and what they did, and so it's been nice for me. We have that connection that's nice, and he's an adopted child, so he didn't come into the family till he was around 3 or 4 and adopted at 5. So that's made it special for me too, that I can be close to him and we can share something that we both like.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so special that you're able to have that time with your grandson and bond with him, and then you guys have that connection, that special relationship that a lot of grandparents don't get with their grandkids. That's so
especially their grandsons. Sometimes the boys are off doing all kinds of other things. But I've been lucky with my grandsons. We've had a lot of fun. Kate, of course, with jiu-jitsu, and the other ones too. So it's been nice. It's been nice.
Yeah. So Elaine, if people wanted to find you, do you want to drop your Instagram so people can go follow you, connect with you, your journey?
That would be great. I'm under jujitsu_grandma. But if you just Google Jiu-Jitsu Grandma, you're going to find me all over the internet. But if you go to Instagram, that would pop up. And it's Elaine Wynn if they want to go to the name that's on the Instagram account. My granddaughter set it up for me because I didn't know what Instagram was. And my professor had said right before I went to Worlds, in fact, he said, you need to get an Instagram account. And I went, what's that? So I just asked my granddaughter, and she set it up and named me Jiu-Jitsu Grandma, which was really nice.
It's just blown up from there. It's awesome. It's great. And hopefully my goal is to go to Masters Worlds here. So hopefully I will see you there.
I may go and watch, you know. I don't know that I'll compete anymore, maybe. But I would like to go and just support my fellow Gracie Baja teams and everybody else I've met. It's like I have friends all over the world. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. I've, had that through jiu-jitsu, and then creating this podcast. Now every time I get a new guest, I'm like, oh, I hope I get to meet them at a competition. Hopefully we actually get to meet in person.
I would love to meet you, Laura. That'd be great. This is fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.